The night air is still. So still that even the wind seems afraid to breathe. Somewhere in the distance, a lonely lantern flickers, and a door creaks open with a sound like a whisper from the grave. This is the kind of story that slides into your mind and settles there, quiet at first, then deeper, until you feel as though you've lived it yourself. A tale of a family who smiled warmly, welcomed strangers, served hot meals, offered soft beds, and then erased travelers from the world without a trace. A name spoken in hushed voices across generations. The Bloody Benders. Hello friends, welcome back to the true story on our channel, Crime Chronicles US, where America's unsolved mysteries, vanished criminals, and chilling cases come alive. Every story is real, every detail matters, and the truth remains buried in the shadows. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to stay updated with every mystery. Picture the American frontier in the early 1870s, a vast stretch of open prairie where dirt roads cut across tall grass like thin scars on the earth. Kansas, wild, new, hungry for settlers, hungry for opportunity, hungry for anyone brave enough to build a life where civilization still trembled on the edge of wilderness. And along one of those lonely roads, near a small town called Cherryvale, stood a modest wooden inn and general store. A simple place, a place of rest, a place of hospitality, a place where travelers could stop, eat, trade stories, and sleep beneath a roof instead of beneath the stars. A place run by a family that called themselves the Benders. They were four. John Bender, a man in his 60s, quiet, heavy-eyed, speaking broken English with a thick accent that hinted at a distant homeland. His wife, Elvira, stern and sharp, her gaze cutting like a blade, even when she smiled. Their son, also named John, tall, confident, charming in the way that made strangers feel instantly at ease. And their daughter, Kate, young, intelligent, articulate, speaking fluent English, discussing modern ideas, healing, spirituality, and the rights of women with a warmth that drew people close. Together, they presented themselves as a simple immigrant family trying to survive on the frontier. A picture of hardship, a picture of honesty, a picture that hid something darker than the prairie night. No one knows with certainty where they truly came from. Some said Germany, some said Holland, some said they drifted in from the east like shadows. Their past was a fog, and into that fog stepped the first traveler who would never be seen again. At first, the Bender property looked ordinary, a small cabin divided by a canvas curtain. One side served as the store and dining area. The other side was their living space. Behind the cabin, a vegetable garden, a well, and beyond that, nothing but rolling land and tall grass waving like a sea. Travelers on the Osage Trail stopped there because there were few options: water, food, shelter. The Benders offered all three, and when the sun fell and the road disappeared into darkness, the warm glow of their lamp became a beacon of trust. Inside, the setup was simple: a table near the wall, chairs for guests, a stove for meals, a counter for goods, and behind the counter, a heavy canvas curtain that separated public from private. No one questioned it. No one imagined that behind that curtain waited death. The story that later emerged from investigators painted a scene so chilling that even hardened lawmen shivered as they spoke of it. A traveler would enter, a friendly greeting, a meal. Kate would engage them, talking about health, about energy, about spiritual healing, about the loneliness of the road. The traveler would sit with their back to the curtain, and at the right moment, when trust was complete, when the body relaxed, when the mind drifted into comfort, a hammer would rise in silence behind them. One blow, sometimes more, blood on the floorboards, a gasp that never reached the door. Then the body pulled through the curtain, stripped of valuables, and dragged to the garden outside, where shallow graves waited beneath the soil. Money, watches, horses, wagons, everything useful sold or traded. The traveler erased from maps, from memory, from the world. Months passed, then a year, then more. Travelers vanished along the Osage Trail. Families waited for letters that never came. Townsfolk whispered. Lawmen noted the disappearances, but the frontier was vast. People vanished for many reasons: disease, bandits, accidents. And the Benders remained smiling hosts on a lonely road, pouring coffee and offering beds. But beneath the calm, greed and cruelty grew. They were not driven by desperation anymore. They were practiced, efficient, almost ritualistic. Some reports later suggested that Kate lured victims with talk of healing sessions. Others said the younger John joked and laughed with travelers like old friends. Old John and Elvira worked quietly, grimly, without pity. Together they formed a machine of death, disguised as family warmth. Who was the mind behind it all? Some believed it was Elvira, cold and commanding. Others believed Kate, intelligent and persuasive, orchestrated the psychological trap. Some thought old John's silence hid a violent past. Others said the younger John enjoyed the killing too much. The truth is tangled, like roots beneath the garden where bodies slept in darkness. By 1873, whispers grew louder. A respected doctor, Dr. William York, disappeared while traveling to check on his brother. Then another man, then another. Dr. York's brother was a Kansas state senator. Suddenly, the missing were no longer faceless wanderers. They were connected to power. Pressure built. Investigations began. Neighbors were questioned. Patrols searched the prairie. The net tightened. When a search party finally rode to the Bender homestead, the place was silent. The cabin empty. The family gone. Pots still on the stove. Beds unmade. A half-eaten meal on the table. It was as if they had vanished into the air. Suspicion turned into horror when the ground behind the cabin was disturbed. Shovels dug, soil lifted, and then the stench. Then the first body, then another, then many more. Decomposed remains, shallow graves, a garden of death. Panic swept Kansas. Newspapers printed sensational stories. Illustrations of the Bender cabin appeared across the country. The phrase, "Bloody Benders," burned into the public imagination. A family of murderers, a slaughterhouse on the prairie. A betrayal of hospitality so profound that it poisoned trust itself. Searches were launched. Rewards were offered. Descriptions circulated. And though the modern FBI Most Wanted list did not yet exist in that era, in 1873 and 1874, the Bloody Benders became among the most sought-after criminals in the United States, pursued by posses, detectives, and bounty hunters across state lines. Their faces, or at least artist impressions, were printed in papers, their names cursed in saloons. Their legend grew larger with every mile they escaped. Where did they go? Some claimed they were seen in Texas. Some said they crossed into Indian territory. Some swore they boarded trains under false names. Others insisted they changed identities and blended into the growing population of America's restless frontier. There were rumors of shootouts, rumors of lynchings, rumors of capture, but no confirmed arrest, no trial, no execution, only stories, fragments, speculation. And so the Benders slipped into the dark river of American myth, half fact, half nightmare. A family that smiled, a home that welcomed, a table where meals were served, a curtain that hid murder, a garden that swallowed secrets. But the story does not end there, because legends do not die when the criminals vanish. They evolve, they crawl through time, they whisper into modern ears, they wait to be retold. And that is where part one fades into silence, leaving a question hanging in the air like mist over the prairie. If evil can wear the mask of kindness so perfectly, How can anyone truly know what waits behind a friendly smile? The lantern flickers, the door creaks, the wind holds its breath. The years rolled forward, and America changed. Railroads stretched steel fingers across the plains. Towns rose where grass once ruled. Telegraph wires carried news faster than horses ever could. And yet the story of the Bloody Benders remained alive, whispered around campfires, printed in yellowed newspapers, passed down like a warning. Beware the welcoming stranger. Beware the lonely inn. Beware the hand that pours your drink. People searched for closure. Did the Benders live under new names? Did they die violently as they had lived? Or did they vanish into quiet lives, carrying the weight of their sins behind ordinary faces? No one could say for certain. The frontier had swallowed them whole. But the impact they left behind was real. Kansas authorities re-examined missing persons. Families mourned confirmed losses. The Bender site became a place of morbid curiosity. Travelers avoided isolated inns. Trust became cautious. Hospitality lost its innocence. The Bloody Benders had not only killed people, they had wounded the idea of safety itself. Over time, writers and historians pieced together their biography from fragments. A poor immigrant family, a father and mother hardened by struggle, a son eager for easy money, a daughter intelligent enough to manipulate, a move to Kansas in search of opportunity, a business built on necessity, then greed, then violence, then habit, then a routine of murder. A cycle fed by secrecy, isolation, and the lack of law on the frontier. They became criminals not in one moment, but in slow steps. Each step easier after the last. A theft, a lie, a disappearance, and finally a trail of graves. In modern terms, they would be labeled serial killers. In their own time, they were simply ghosts on the prairie, wanted men and women without a prison to hold them. The year 1873 marked the beginning of their infamy, the moment when authorities recognized the pattern and the nation learned their name. From then on, they were among the most hunted criminals in the land, even if no official list existed yet to record it. And still, the unanswered questions remain the heartbeat of their legend. How many victims? Some say 11, some say 20, some say more. How did a family live with such darkness under the same roof? How did they look into the eyes of strangers, laugh with them, share bread with them, and then end their lives without mercy? These questions pull at the imagination like a slow, steady drum. Their story is a mirror. It reflects a truth that is uncomfortable. Monsters do not always look monstrous. Sometimes they look like neighbors. Sometimes they offer help. Sometimes they speak gently. Sometimes they invite you to sit, to rest, to trust. The prairie where they lived is quiet now. Grass grows where the cabin once stood. Wind moves across the land like a long exhale. No curtain remains. No hammer. No shallow graves waiting. But the echo lingers. A reminder carved into American folklore. A caution passed from generation to generation. And as the story settles in your mind, as the images fade like an old photograph, one final thought rises, calm and clear. Evil does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it smiles. Sometimes it offers you a chair at the table and pours you a warm cup of coffee. And if you're not careful, you may never notice the curtain behind you. The lantern goes out, and the night is still again. And the tale of the Bloody Benders, a family of hospitality and horror, fades into the darkness where it was born. The end. So friends, if you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Crime Chronicles US for more chilling unsolved mysteries from across America. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next story.